Hello everyone, Ryan here. Article 3. Article 3 by Anna Jakobsson Lund is a pretty intriguing dystopian novel, first installment of a trilogy. By the way, I gotta say, I received a free copy of this from the author herself in exchange for an honest review, so that's what I'm gonna do. I also received it via the review chain. The review chain is a pretty cool group service that allows book bloggers, booktubers, bookworms to receive free copies of books in exchange for reviews. And so I thank them. I also thank the author for giving me the chance to receive a copy of this and review it. If you'd like to know more about the review chain, I'll provide a link to the site down below. You can check that out. I definitely encourage all bookworms, all booktubers to check out the review chain. So, as far as the story goes, it is, of course, it is a dystopian novel, but I would say it's not like your typical dystopian novel. It doesn't really follow the kinds of themes and formulas that we've all come to expect, that most people have come to expect from a dystopian novel. You know, stuff that can be found in the Hunger Games, Divergent, Maze Runner, so many others. But I'll go ahead and read the synopsis for you so you can get a general idea of what it's about. In a world where the system governs everything, Ava's a rebel, one who can control other people's thoughts with her mind. As part of a resistance movement preparing for war, this is a useful skill. Levi stopped believing in the struggle for freedom when it snatched his parents from him. Now he's just trying to live a quiet life and control the voices that threaten his sanity. One night, Levi's sister is arrested. To free her, he has to break old promises and get involved with people he swore he'd never associate with. Ava's ordered to help him, and together they leave on a rescue mission. She says he has to trust the rebels, but should they? So there you go. That's a pretty accurate summary of what Article 3 is about. I will say that for me, because this was translated from the original Swedish version, I did feel like maybe there was some stuff that was kind of lost in translation. Though I could be wrong. I'm completely open to being wrong, but I don't know. For me, it felt like there's maybe certain sentences or phrases or slang words that might have, not been translated as accurately as possible. But again, that's just me. That's what I gathered from it. Mostly because the way some of the characters describe certain things, to me, it didn't really seem to match up with what they were trying to describe. I mean, ultimately, I was able to understand the gist of what they were explaining. But yeah, other than that, I mean, the only other thing that I had a problem with too is the fact that a lot of the characters they speak in this slang kind of language. Originally, it reminded me of maybe some kind of Scottish accent, but since this was translated from Swedish, I realized that maybe it's supposed to be some kind of slang, Swedish language or something, or maybe Swedish / Scottish / British, and I don't know, or something else. But again, for the most part, I was able to understand the gist of what the characters were talking about. As far as the main character goes, Levi, in the beginning, it was hard for me to like like him and to really become interested in this character, mostly because he came off as one-dimensional, but then eventually he, towards the latter half of the book, the layers of his personality peeled away and revealed him as being far more complex. And another thing too is there's a lot of character development, especially in the first half. The first half of this book, there's a lot more character development than I've ever come across in any other dystopian novel. And I like that. I definitely like that. It was kind of refreshing in a way. But also too, like, I kind of felt like maybe there were some parts that, like, could have possibly, like, edited out, like, a chapter or two, because sometimes there was some, like, descriptions that I felt really didn't add that much to the story. Like, it was all just supposed to, I guess, make you, like, really force you to try to sympathize with the characters in a certain way. And yeah, I don't know, for me it came off as maybe just a little too forced, but otherwise, I mean, everything else about the story is definitely awesome. Of course, it does take place in, like, a post-apocalyptic kind of society. Also too, there's an element that reminds me of the X-Men, like X-Men, the fact that, because all the kids in the story, like, of course, most of the characters are teenagers, like with a lot of dystopian stuff. I believe they're, like, between the ages of, like, 15 to 20 or something. Like, maybe the oldest is, like, in his mid-20s or something. But they have these abilities, which they don't refer to as abilities or superpowers. They refer to them as faculties. And from what I was able to gather, most of these faculties revolve around some kind of mental ability, like they're able to read people's minds or empathize with people, or like have access to a person's memories, or something like that. It also reminded me of, like, psychic stuff, clairvoyancy, and the kind of stuff that you normally expect to hear from a person who will say that they have some kind of sixth sense or something like that. And that's another part of the story that I really liked, and I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't really expanded upon in great detail. But I guess that's mostly because, this is the first installment of the trilogy, and hopefully in the second installment that is expanded upon, because I would definitely like to learn more about these faculties. And at the same time, like, it's interesting too, because then pretty much from what I gather is that, like, in this post-apocalyptic world or society, these people who have these faculties, they are, pretty much shunned and shamed, and to the point where, like, pretty much a lot of the people, kids, well, I guess mostly kids that have these faculties, but a lot of them, that do have these faculties, they feel so ashamed that they don't even really like to admit to having faculties, and also they don't even really they don't really want to understand, where these faculties originate from, or for the most part, I mean, that's what I gathered from the little bit that is talked about these faculties. So, and also too, I do like the interaction between all the characters. I will also say that I wasn't really able to relate to any of the characters. but I was still intrigued, I guess, still interested in learning a little bit more. And that's another thing too, which seems kind of weird to me, because even though there is a lot of character development in the first half of this book, at the same time, I kind of felt like I didn't learn enough about these characters, or at least definitely the main character, Levi. Eventually you learn a lot about Levi. There's one thing too that kind of surprised me, which I don't want to give away because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but was pretty cool, surprising to me, but also too made sense. It made sense to me because once this thing about him was revealed, then it made sense to me why in the beginning he was so closed off and reluctant to really trust anybody. Ultimately, I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. Yeah, 4 out of 5. And the ending itself, the ending is good, it works, but I was kind of hoping that it would have ended maybe in a different way, or I guess I was just really disappointed that I didn't get to find out more about these faculties, and because I guess again, it reminded me of X-Men and a lot of other superhero type stuff that I'm used to seeing in comic books, and but it is an awesome story. It is a good story. Again, I give it 4 out of 5 stars. And if you are interested in reading a dystopian novel that is not like your typical cookie cutter kind of dystopian novel, then I do recommend reading this Article 3. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I think I wanted to cover about this. I guess I am looking forward to reading the next installment. I don't know exactly when that'll come out, but yeah. So that'll do it for my review of Article 3 by Anna Jakobsson Lund. Once again, I thank the author for sending me the free copy. Also thank the review chain for allowing me to have access to this free copy. And yeah, again, if you want to learn more about the review chain, I'll provide a link down below. Check that out, definitely. And thank you for watching this review. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, don't forget to keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.